Today I want to show you how to create a custom graph connector with PowerShell. And before we start, I have to say thank you for all of our sponsors. They do an amazing job. Without them, this whole conference wouldn't even be possible. And also because of you guys and folks here, I'm sorry for that, because of you folks here. So if you have time, check out the above. They have amazing services, products, stuffs, and also swag. Yeah, that's the reason why we like them so much. Today, like I said, I want to talk about Microsoft Graph Connectors, which means how to upload data into Microsoft Graph so we are capable of receiving it via several methods. Little talk about me. My name is Ritter. I'm a system senior engineer working for CANCOM. I'm a husband, I'm a father of two beautiful children, I'm a passionate billiard player, not a good one. I'm a hobby chef and also a board game geek. So, which means if any kind of topic fits your interest, head out to me, we can have a lovely chat about it, or we could also talk about PowerShell, because that's the reason we are here. So when it comes to coding, I make mistakes. I make mistakes all the time. There's not even a single day without any red line on my screen, which means I also had a lot of struggle to make this all happen, but it ended hopefully quite in the end. So praise to the demo gods. We are now in the new room. We have video, audio, and hopefully good code. So I like to make code go fast, and I like to make code go stable. And a big part of it, blog about it, spread the word. Even if you do something cool, spread about it, because then we can grow together. A little disclaimer: if I'm the smartest person in this room, I'm entirely in the wrong room. It was before, but there's another point. But what this phrase means for me is, if you have something in addition, some questions, please shout, take your time. If it's too much, I will shift to the end of the session, but I like to learn with you together. So I don't know everything about it, but I know and some of it. So this was the reason why I said, okay, we'll do the session. What are graph connectors, or what are the spirits of data integration? Microsoft Graph Connectors integrate external data into Microsoft Graph. So we can ingest data, because I'm a German guy, and German people like to keep their data. They don't like to put it all in the cloud, even if it's top confidential or secret or something like that. But with Microsoft Graph Connectors, you have the ability just to take a little bit of your data, put it onto the cloud, and then just receive it via Microsoft Search, Context IQ Search, or the web host previously called Microsoft 365 Copilot. IA is a thing. I guess you heard about it already. And Microsoft Apps 365 app, which is called nowadays, before it just was Office apps like Outlook and so on. Microsoft likes to change names. We all know this. Now we come to the brewery. We are in Antwerp. We have a lot of beer here. So like we want to brew something on our own. What we want to brew? A custom graph connector. What is necessary for this? What we need to do for this? We have to create an app registration. We have to define a schema to ingest our data, and later on define layout for adaptive cards. I know this is a kind of GUI thing, but it's necessary for doing this with the SharePoint Online Search, for example, to receive the object itself. Okay, with this said, let's get started, because we love demos, we love code. Let's head into code. Hopefully this works like I expect it to work. Perfect. Okay. So this is just a recent session hack. Please don't look at it. Perfect. Okay. Then we have some kind of, we need to create the app registration, I've said. What we have to do for this, we have to connect to the Microsoft Graph. We have to say, okay, which roles we do need. We need role assignment read write all, application read write all, and user read all. Everyone is able to read on everything on the screen? Perfect. Okay. So with this said, let's run this in the Wi-Fi of the hotel and see. Well, it looks like we're getting somewhere. And I think this was this one. Now I have to get to my phone, because MFA is important. We all know this, or we hopefully all do this. It's already done. Oh, I did this beforehand. It's okay, man. Thank you. I love our audience that gives me advice. So then we need to create the app registration of our tenant ID. We can make use of getMG context, and then we point to the property tenant ID. Then we need the user ID, because someone has to create this custom graph connector. In this case, it's me. Then we have a display name. In this case, a little foreshadowing. I use the session data of the PSConfEU this year. Then we have to give this app registration some kind of roles. In this case, I made up a little hash table because for readability purposes, from my understanding, it's quite easier when I scroll through the code and just see the names of the roles instead of the cryptic IDs. I can't remember any of those, so it's, for me, it's a no-brainer. Maybe you can take this with you if you haven't done it already like this. Same goes for the app ID, for the Microsoft Graph. Even it's a familiar number because it's had a lot of zeros in it, but even that readability beats. Now we have to define a resource access object. So there we have to say, okay, which is our ID for the role, and also which type, it's a role. So, and also the resource app ID. We spin it up as well here in a hash table array. And now we come to splatting. I hope every one of you makes use of splatting because it simplifies readability a lot. I like I said, like my code stable and also readable. So when we now define our splat, we have to give our app registration a name via display name, and we require resource access. Is that what we have defined above? So let me create this really quick. And now, raise the fingers for demo gods. Yes, perfect. No error is a good error. So now we have to define some new service principal for our app registration. Therefore, we try to receive the Microsoft Service Principal Graph App ID, or the ID. We can do this via get mg service principal and filter for just the app ID for our Microsoft Graph like we did before. So, single click here. And then we say, okay, new mg service principal with our app ID. And now we have to iterate through all of our roles just to make the admin consent. So you don't have to do this by hand anymore with that piece of code. So it will also come to the GitHub, so you could make use of it if you haven't already. So then I just define a splat one more time for the service principal ID, the principal ID, app role ID, and also the resource ID. And with all of that 2 times, because we have 2 roles, we just make it as an app role assignment for our app registration. Oh, there's some sound. I don't know where it's come from, but I don't care. So also no errors, perfect. And now we have to find a secret. And when I talk with secrets, I got a little pain, to be honest. I know we can do certificates, we can also do other cool methods for authentication, and Ben Ritter is giving us today a cool presentation how to do this. So just for demo purposes, we use it right now as a secret, but have in mind there are better alternatives. Okay? And I also want to learn something from Ben. Okay. As we have done this, we now can disconnect from our tenant. Please not. And now we have to reconnect with our app registration, with our new credentials. So I just spin up a new PS credentials object. I say, okay, this is my client ID right here. And afterwards, my highly secure password. And please, 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 in real life, store them somewhere safe. Yeah. So in this case, it's a demo. Should be fine. And I won't load up any credentials here to the tenant, so to the GitHub. So, and we are hopefully connected. Way! It works. So now we have to create an adaptive card. So, but the thing is, what we want to create, because I said, okay, we talk about the session data. So we should always inspect the data which we like to upload. Yeah, which means in this case, I've told you it will use the sessions for this conference as items for my custom graph connector. In this case, I picked a random number to query the whole data set. And it turns out, hey, I know this session, create a custom graph connector with PowerShell. Amazing. So, but what I need from this data? I say, okay, I need a ID at least, some kind of title, a description, which is kind of long. then when the session starts and where the session starts. So I make use of the room, and maybe it could change. Who knows? Okay, that's the point about it. So those are the categories I like to have in my items for my query search. Just keep this in mind. And then I have to define a layout. Now it comes to a part where a lot of text for adaptive cards. But in this case, basically I break it down. I used some kind of picture for the search icon. I just added the items itself via title. Like you can see, the text is a title for a text block, speakers, and description, and starts at. One thing I've missed, I'm sorry. We have here the question answers because there's a one-liner in it. So I used for the description just the one-liner, and then the real description goes into the object, which you see a little bit later in the short. So, and there's a fantastic site, adaptivecards.io. If you don't want to create this on your own, just head there. There are examples, use them, tweak them, and you're good to go. So, all links I will pack into the session notes, so you don't have to write it down right now. Okay, now we're talking about adaptive cards. We have to add the adaptive card. Due to the breaking change in 7.3, we have to create a hash table for this JSON file like this. So we define, okay, this is the object type hash table, and hash table inside of it. And then you have to assign via the plus equals operation for the get content and convert from JSON as hash table to make this work. Okay, as done this, now we have to find our schema. So you see, everything we have to define is always related on schema. And therefore, we have to say, okay, what's our, for example, one property is our title. Which type is it? Is it queryable? Is it searchable? Is it retrievable? So you can also hide some properties via the basic search. But you can do, what you can do is, you can also make use of PowerShell just to receive all of the information or items of your items. So, and the same goes for speakers, room, starts at, description, bam, finished. Okay, then let me also run this real quick. Perfect. And now we have to define our external connection. We have to define a base external URL, a templates ID, which could be a name, and be aware, choose a short name. I did a preparation, it runs through. I did it another time with a little longer name for the connection ID, and it broke. At the same time, I split it up to presentation, so it was a real pain to figure this out. I don't know how short it'd be. I have tried to look up, but down chance, for me at least, if you have, yell at me. Therefore, choose a short name. Okay, perfect. Then we have a connection ID, a connection name, and also connection description. The connection name itself will be retrievable by the SharePoint search, for example. And let me run this right now. Now we have to define the external connection. So where's the user ID, the connection itself, we have the ID, the name, the description, the activity settings, which points to the base external URL to retrieve, for example, the IDs for the objects, and the search settings. So there you also have the ID for the search results templates ID. You can define a priority. In this case, it's my only one, so I choose one. I have a layout, and the layout points to our adaptive card. The schema comes in a little bit later. That's another point. So let me make up this spread real quick. And now we can say new MG external connection, pass in our body parameters, and hopefully there's no error, so the stop sign doesn't go any wrong. And no? Okay. Yeah, hold the Wi-Fi. So, okay. Perfectly. No error message because the ID was short enough. And now, after this, we have to update our connection schema. This is a schema which I talked about a little bit above with the retrievable, queryable, searchable, and I'm not capable of finding it because I collapse every time. Collapse. There we go. This is the schema. We have to now update our custom craft connector. And you do it like this. You define a body with what's the base type is external item, and also which the properties is our schema. So I made up as a simple one object. And if I do this now, we have to wait for 10 minutes. Have you any questions this time? No. I prepared something like a really good cook in a TV show, something beforehand, which means, but you have to wait until the connection state changed from draft to active, I guess it was called. I just wait for until it changed away from draft, as you can see here. It's in state draft, and it could usually take up 4 to 10, 12 minutes, so we don't have time for this. So I directly switch to another slide of my presentation. Now we want to pure some content inside of our Microsoft Draft connector. What we need to do for it, we have to collect our external data, for sure. We have to transform it so it's fit into a side of our schema. Like I showed you, I only need those properties. And then afterwards, we just ingest our data. And with this final step, we should be done and good to go. With that said, let's head back to VS Code. Yeah, perfectly. So, like I said, I've prepared something. That's my presentation hack. Don't look at me. And it should be... Yeah, we are connected again. Perfect. Like I said, the sessionized UI and also the invoke REST method call just for the properties. And there we have our connection item list. So I said we have to transform our data to make it fitting for the comment itself. So as we have an ID, it has to be unique. It could be anything. In this case, as sessionized has some unique IDs, why not make use of those? So then, therefore, we have some kind of properties like our title, our description, our speaker starts at in room. In this case, as the speakers could be multiple on stage, I just join them via comma to receive a single string. Same goes for the question answers if there are more than a one-liner. And starts at, I don't like the to do this with a get date, to get annoyed with via date, so I just paste as a toString method, and it should be okay. Then for our content, because every item has a content, we have some kind of description, which is also a text blob, and there this goes the long description of the sessionized titles. And then we have to define an ACL who's able to receive those items. In this case, we use the X type grant, and we say the type is everyone, also the value, so no hidings in my company, at least for this connector, my imaginary company. In this case, now we also need the activities. Who created this all? Who made this there? Who put it there? Let's get this way. So we have a start date time. So we have some, when it was uploaded. I made experience, if you go further in time, not a good idea. So I always go 1 hour or 1 day back. It's fine just for this. Also, who's done this and who's done this. So, yeah, okay. And that's basically all we need to do this for each item in our sessionized list. Do it really quick. And after this, we iterate once through the whole list and just say set mg external connection item, the connection ID, and also external item ID, the body parameters. And if an error appears, we will stop. Hopefully. Done. Could it be that I didn't create a list properly? Let's go back to the state. Just for demo cards. No. Okay. But the thing is, with talking with that, it worked before. It worked on my machine before. But now it doesn't. I will make sure when I upload this is still working again. I will make a new tenant and try this. So, okay, please don't bother me with that. So, right now. On the hallway, it's okay, but for the record, okay? So, now we have to talk about limits, because we have to know our limits. Today, we have a community dinner. There's a lot of good food. There's a lot of good drinks, a lot of party, but all the speakers tomorrow at 10 a.m. want to have you there. So know your limits. The same thing goes for the usage of an API. So when we talk about custom graph connectors, we talk about connection resources per Microsoft. We can have 30 custom graph connectors. You could increase the limit, but you have to get in touch with Microsoft beforehand and have a really good reason why you need more than 30 of those. And we only can have, for example, we can have 5 million items per connection, or connector, like you say it this way. But if you now do your math and look at the last row, there's only 50 million in total. And if you see 30 times 5 million, it's a little bit more, so be aware of that. Also, the connection byte size with 500 gigabyte depends on the content you put in there. So be aware of that. There are a lot of limitations. Like when you see the presentation, you can see this in the information source down below. But in this case, yeah. And there's another point. You don't have to see the custom graph connector as a single project. Because when you remember what Gail says in the keynote, was it's a life circle. Because you have to watch this, you have to monitor this, you have to plan this, to deploy this, and so on. It's a whole life cycle. So please be aware of that. And before we finish and come to the questions part, I have a last call. The whole code base was initially created by Paul Bullock, who presented this at Ignite in 2033. I just make the rewrite of the whole script. I tried to compromise this a little bit. I also started to prepare something to create this with 1 or 2 commands at all. So with intelligent creating of the schema and also for the adaptive cards. So this could be a goal. I will put it online near future. Don't rely heavy on that, but I try to. And which means if you want to contribute, feel free, open PRs. So, but if it's online, I will post a link. So follow me on social media. You can see it right down below. And I also have to make another time to shout out to Ben Reader's session today at 14 o'clock, because he will talk about how to avoid the secrets. And now we the part of Q&A. But the first thing before you start to ask me 2 questions. How do you think the whole process of creating and thinking about is quite easily, or it's complicated? Have you done this before? Just shout. Never, okay. But have you heard of custom graph connectors before? Have you heard that it's so easy to do this? I have heard this before. This was the reason why I said, hey, it's cool idea. Let's make this a PowerShell. Yeah, okay. It was quite difficult. It is a lot of code. That's the reason why I said I want to compromise this. I want to make it easier for us, because we all live in a world of PowerShell with get, verb, and all the nice comments. So that's the point about it.
The manuals that you can find on MS Learn, for example, and documentation is okay, but just creating schemas takes a lot of time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the point. I repeat it real quick. So he said that the documentation for Microsoft Learn is quite good for it. Stop me if I'm wrong. It's quite good, so you can follow along. But to define the schema and be aware of what to put where and how could become quite complex easily. So that's a little pain, I like to say. This is now my voice. So yeah. But with that said, this was my question for you right now. If you want to clap, I would appreciate it, and then we can. And now we can come to the question part. Fabian?
Do you create the schema manually all the time? So is it like you look at the data and then extract the schema manually, or is there some help?
Which schema? Adaptive card schema or the schema itself for the connector? For the connector, basically it's just... Oh, so sorry. I was asked if I create by the schema for the connector itself by hand, or if I have some kind of automation for this or any sort of. To be honest, no, I do this by hand because it's only 6 lines that I have to be aware of. So I just duplicate, and switch the names, and should be good to go. But as I said, for the framework thing I have in my mind, I will shrink this whole process quite down. Because I think custom connectors are amazing with their capabilities of uploading things to the cloud, only specific parts of data to the cloud. And yeah. So, another question. Please feel free. Yeah.
Do you have any real-world
use cases for this? I'm thinking using Graph is like using some kind of database somewhere for doing something. How would you use this in company?
Yeah, the question was, is there any kind of real world scenarios for this? I like to say yes, I really use this for the customer side, for example, because as I said, I'm a German citizen and we have many German companies, and German companies don't like a lot to put in data, the whole data, if it's top secret or confidential, even if it's AIP, AIP? Yeah, thank you. To the cloud, and so they just want to have a substract of data just to query. For example, think about a medicine company, and they have some kind of special receipts, for example, for any kind of production of medicines, and they just want to have some kind of information in the cloud, but not all of them, because they are highly regulated by law, and so they just can make use of the data, but only certain pieces of the data file, for example. And this was kind of different branch area, but was kind of scenario. Yeah. Another question. Feel free. Yeah.
So you also showed how to implement this in the SharePoint search.
Sorry, pardon me.
Sorry. You also showed how to implement this in the SharePoint search.
It's automatically should be automatically in the same SharePoint search. I was asked if I have uploaded this to SharePoint search so far. Yeah, it's automatically uploaded. But the thing is, with my demo tenant right now, I'm not capable of showing it directly. I have to be honest, but like I said, I'm based on the work of Paul Bullock for the code itself. He has also some kind of pictures how it looks like in the search itself. That's a little bummer, I know. Yeah.
So I understand that the retrieval of the information is easy.
Yeah. Genau, which is, you just can ask for the, sorry, one. And that's it. The retrieval is quite not that hard, because you just can say, okay, get mg external connection, for example. If we do this like this, hopefully we will see. Okay, I hopefully have uploaded something in one of those. Get mg mg external external connection item was the command for this. Maybe I blocked a few right now. And then we have to define a connection ID. In this case, hopefully PSConfEU. I have uploaded something there. And I could ask for the external item ID. And hopefully I've put something there, because I had to rerun this many times.
Yeah.
Have it?
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
In the name of it should be PSC.
It's PSC, isn't it?
You have two S's. So you have two S's instead of.
Ah, thank you. No, Demo God's not today with me.
Instead of S, it should be like double C for some reason.
Yeah, because I'm kind of sometimes. Let me copy this, because I'm not 100% aware if I have put something there. Yeah, I see. No, but even if it's the right name, there's no data in it. So it was not found because there is no data in it. I really tried to make this work and had several of tenants. So yeah, I'm kind of sorry for that. But get it this way, with the get mg connect external connection item command, you can, if you have uploaded something, you can retrieve it. Right now I can't. But that's the whole point. You can do this. It works. It works. Probably on another tenant that I have, but yeah. Yeah. Another question. Yeah.
How's the cost compared to, for example, if you see sports tables?
The cost thing about it is, to be honest, in the first place, I didn't notice any kind of cost right now, because I've done this. There is a subscription plus model. There is. I don't know the price tag right now of it, but there is someone. But there more kind of capabilities like vertical search and SharePoint and something like this. But for this basic object, I didn't see any price tag because I could make use of it without any license. And on another day, it worked quite well. Any more questions? If not, I paced a little bit too much, to be honest, because we had to switch rooms. I got a little... So I know, hopefully you were able to get the basic idea behind it. You have access to the code, so if you want to do it for your own test tenant, feel free. I try to make it bug-free. If you experience some other kind of bugs, please just head out to me, and I will do everything to fix it. Okay, there's another question, then you have plenty more spare time right now till the next session. Thank you.